Hey fish family, welcome back to J. Oliver's Guppies and Aquatics. Today we're going to do part 10 of the fish room rebuild series. I know it's been a little while. Once I got everything done behind me from the last video, I started importing quite a bit. The temperatures got right, so all these tanks, most of them are filled with guppies I imported from Thailand. And if you're wondering why some of the tanks look a yellowish green, it's because of the medications I use when I quarantine all my new fish, and it's a nitrofurazone combo, and the nitrofurazone really makes the tanks yellow until the medication clears out. So that answers that question. I get that a lot in Facebook and comments wondering what's up with the color of the tanks, and that's why. Just doing my normal precautions and medicating and doing the best I can to provide the healthiest fish I can. But anyway, on today's episode, we're going to go back over finishing up the automatic water change systems. I ran some flexible drip lines from the PVC down to the tanks. I drilled holes in the side of the plastic for the tubing to go into. I will go over that with you here in just a minute, and then I'll talk about what I'm doing next on the second wall. So about finished with this side. All I got to do is still want to put some fronts on these cabinet or on the shelves, so all you see is the tanks. You're not going to see all the tubing and all this stuff in between. I'll have some covers that fold down and cover all that up, and something around the top as well. But when I figure it out, I will let you know. Alright, so let's jump over there. Alright, I'll do a quick zoomed out view so you can kind of see what's going on. Lots and lots of guppies. Every tank has a different strain in it. I've killed the main linear piston air pump just for the noise quality of the video. I just unplugged it for right now, so no bubble noise going on. But lots of guppies everywhere. Super happy with all the quality. But anyway, let me get to what I'm going to do about the fish room rebuild. I've got plenty of other videos on the fish. So, on my last video I showed you everything was connected, running well. Showed you how it runs into the mop sink in the other room through the tubes. I wound up actually cutting this one on both sides. The valves were pointed straight down, and I decided on this top roll to turn the pipe a little bit to where the valves were facing outward, because the flexible tubing that I run from the valve down to the tank was kind of ran at a weird angle when it was pointed straight down. So to take some of the curving out of the flexible tubing, I went ahead and just angled this towards where it's going, so it's one less awkward turn it has to take. But I'll show you. Here is what I'm talking about. I've got everything done on the first two rolls. See if it'll focus here. But it's just a flexible irrigation tubing, I believe is what they call it. And I went through 10 inches from the front of the tank. I marked it and drilled holes right here in the side of the plastic frame of the tank, and it just holds right in. Then water noise, you can barely hear it when it enters the tank this way. It's so much quieter. Love it this way. So I'm going to show you in just a minute. I've went ahead and I've drilled every single hole on this top roll except for the last one here. So I'm going to set the camera up on a tripod, and I'm going to show you how I drill the hole real quick. So stay tuned. Alright guys, hopefully the tripod doesn't fall over. I've got it set up on a bucket so it could reach this top row. But here we are. I got this little container with just something random I already had. But I put this in the tank right under the hole where I'm drilling, so it catches all the plastic pieces, and the drill has something to go into once it goes through without hitting it or going into the water. I just figured out, I checked drill bits and I figured out which size worked best for the size tubing I'm using. And hopefully I can get this on camera without covering it up. So I've already marked the side where I need it I'm holding the cup. The cup's not getting water in it. I just put the drill right where I marked it. And do a little wiggling, help get the debris out of the way. I just let the drill bit do the work itself. I'm not really putting much force. If you press too hard, you risk cracking out the plastic. Alright, and that's it. Sorry if that was a little noisy. As I was saying though, you want to take your time, go slow, don't really put much force on it, just let the drill bit do the work. And if you press too hard, you risk cracking this plastic frame. And you can still make it work. I actually wound up cracking just one out of all 30 tanks, and it just did a little crack. It wasn't nothing major, and it still held the plastic tubing just fine. So if you saw me there, I just pushed all the extra pieces of plastic into this cup, and you can see it there. See, it caught it all in the cup. And that's how I did all 30 tanks. Pretty simple. And next I'll get the tubing and run it from, let's see, I'll push it on here and then run it right into the hole I just made, and it's a pretty snug fit right there. Perfect little hole for the tubing to go into. Alright, so like I was showing you up top, the tubing just fits right down into the hole I drilled, perfectly snug. I had to kind of wiggle it in there, so I'm not worried about it falling out. And then you just press it on to the end of the valve right there. And these ones aren't open all the way. I've got them turned just a bit to even out the pressure, because the bottom tanks were getting the most pressure just from gravity, and the top ones were getting the less amount of flow. So I evened it out. Most all the top ones are still wide open, and just had to play with it to get the best flow rate out of everything. I've calculated it, and for all 30 tanks, with the way I've got it set up, it takes I think just over 30 minutes is just over 4 gallons. So I do about 40 minutes to get about a 5-gallon water change on all these, and I'll literally do that about every other day. When I first get imports in and I'm doing a lot of medications, I'll do it every single day. I'll do the water changes and add more meds until it's done. So that's about it on that wall, guys. I'm super happy, super thankful for how it's looking, how it's turned out. And next up, we'll go over here, and I've already got started. On the last video, my old shelf was still in here, and none of this was painted. So this past couple days, I've extended the PVC, got the wall painted black, got these 2 stands built for 55 or 45 gallon tanks, basically 4-foot tanks, and I'm going to stack them 3 high. I'm going to do 55s on the bottom 2 rolls, and all these will be on the automatic water change system and drain into this drain line that runs around the whole room and works off these tanks too, and it'll all be draining into this sump pump hole that I have here. So it'll be real exciting. I've still got to extend the water. That's the water line for all the water in, so I'll bring that over here, get it ready to run out all above these tanks after I get the tanks in. And I'll be moving these tanks here that are out in these rooms. So these are the 255s that are going to go on the bottom, and then these other 3 are 45 gallon tanks, and they'll go on the next 2 rolls. And I measured it. I know it looks messy and cluttered. I'm kind of in construction mode. I cannot wait to get this fish room nice and neat. But the 45 gallon tanks go up 17 inches tall, and the 55s go up to 21 inches. And I did all my math and everything and put 45s up here on the top row, and it'll give me about a foot worth from the top of the tank to the ceiling. So there'll be plenty of room to get fish in and out, and just super happy about it. So again, I got everything painted up to this point basically, and once I get everything moved out of here and out of the way and cleaned up, I'll start painting this wall. I'm going to build shelves and put tanks here. Not sure what sizes yet. This is the one area I'm still just leaving open, and I'm going to figure it out as I go. But I know this wall for sure is going to have at least six 40 breeders along this wall. 3 rows across, stacked too high, and then above that I was planning on doing a row of 10-gallon tanks across the top for like shrimp and small breeding projects. So all this here will be getting moved out of the way. This is old and original stuff, so all that'll be gone. Building stands for this wall for the 40 breeders, and all this stuff here in the middle will be getting moved. I got my line of Dr. Basileer foods that I use. Can't recommend that food enough. It's, in my opinion, the best you can get. But there are lots of great companies out there. Not to down anyone else. I just prefer Dr. Basileer. Anyway, guys, that's about it for this one. Quick video. I'll jump back on here and show you what I get going next on this wall. I'll start moving tanks. I gotta still drill the hole in the drain line to for the drain lines from the tank to the pipe to go in, and I'll show you that process when I get there. I'm probably going to scrape the blue paint off the tanks and do them black, the same paint as the walls and the stands, the same as I've done over here on these. Just painted them all black on the back side, and I'm really happy with it. Thank you guys for staying tuned, and I'll catch you on the next one. Jay Oliver's Guppies and Aquatics.